All right, I'm bored of 9-iron. Some four irons. And really trying to just fall into my swing. Just this initial move, don't rush it. Been hitting it so hard too. It's amazing what effortless power does. It's like the easier you swing, the harder you hit it. A lot of great players talk about that. They wanted to hit it further, they just swing easier. And you know when you hit a flush shot, you know when a shot's powerful. I don't have tracking data, but that ball was probably about 220 yards in the air with a 4-iron. Decent strike. I love these irons. I've had more than one set of this same iron. 3 actually. Yeah, I'm just trying to start nice and balanced. If someone were to push me forward, push me from the back side to side, I could take it. But I don't want to be too bent over. I don't want to get my butt outside my feet. Too many people are starting on their heels, leaning back, because they've heard it's kind of like sitting on a stool or something. The stool comes into play in the golf swing, but it's not your initial setup. Your initial setup, you basically want to be standing straight up and down to begin with, and put, your hand width, your fist, but like a healthy gap, it doesn't need to be uptight. It can be. Jim Furyk stands really tight. A lot of people stand really tight to their clubs. And as you get shorter, like a wedge, if I had a wedge, I'd have, I was gripping up on it, it would be right here, honestly. Like just hitting a little punch shot, if I were to grip up, you see how close that is? But of course, if I'm hitting driver, that was an exaggeration. If I'm hitting driver, it would be out here. So it moves a little bit, distance from the ball. But just good posture. Basically, where these buttons are right here, the seam of your pants, you want right over, just in back of that end. You want pretty bit, you don't want them back and forward. You want to be standing fairly tall with a nice high chin. Your feet, you don't want them too narrow, but you don't want them too wide either. Because if it's like this, you end up kind of just turning like that around in a little circle and you don't get enough lateral movement. And if your stance is too wide, you end up kind of needing to sway off the ball. You can be a little narrow or a little wide, but generally speaking, again, with a driver, you're going to be about the widest, where your feet are a little outside your shoulders. Definitely want it outside your shoulders some. The 4-iron, probably more just barely outside my shoulders. Just in a real comfortable position, upright. And so most people can start out good. There's no reason you shouldn't be able to have a nice setup and a nice grip in golf. And just realize, you've been told this a million times and it's so true, about you just need to have effortless power and relax. Because if you just let the natural forces and gravity move things, you create so much more momentum and potential speed, and it's just so much easier. It doesn't rip up your body. You hit it in the middle of the club face a hell of a lot more often. There's really no downsides to having balance and rhythm and tempo in your swing. Sure, if you absolutely need to rip one on occasion, go for it and lose balance, but majority of your swing should very much be in balance when you swing. And use your shoulders, because a lot of people, too many people just swing like this, like so much arms, and they just whoop and throw it at the ball. You have no power like that, no width, like wide width. You want to turn your, like if you had a pocket, or I do have pockets right here. I'm trying to turn this pocket on my chest behind me, if not more like up to that guitar. Oh, you probably can't see it. Almost to the ceiling on a driver. I was really trying to rip one, I would really get a big turn. My arms aren't moving very much. Even if I turn as much as I can, watch, I won't move my arms. I'll just stand up straight. That's as far as I've moved my arms. It's right, that's all it is. Watch, if I just move to right here, that's nothing but shoulders. I'm not moving anything as far as my arms or my wrists. See how much width that is? And accuracy and consistency, because all you're doing is, taking it back, and it collapses a little bit at the top. That's where you get this angle to come in. And then you get that angle back to parallel with the ground, and you just need to make that movement there. And of course through. Boom. Get your weight through. But what really creates the speed, once you learn the initial motion, the problem is a lot of people don't learn this from the beginning. It's not hitting through the ball. You don't want to just drive through the ball with your body and club. Your club, yes, but what creates speed with your club is actually pushing away from it. This is actually kind of a new feeling for me, and I've been doing pretty well with it. Is just trying to push away from it with my lead heel. Okay, there it is. Sorry, I was looking for this. So, kind of like snapping a towel. I wouldn't just and hit you with a towel, all forward momentum, no strength at all. But if I pull my hand back, the towel snaps. That's a very common comparison. Seen that a million times, but it's true. It's that lead heel and leg that pushes away. And you have to do it, if you were early extending, you definitely have to do it quite a bit. If you were getting this move, it's gonna take quite a bit more pushing away from target that way than you feel it should be. It should almost feel like you're just pushing back away from the target, away from the ball, because then your hands can fire through. Make decent contact. That was flush. I'm just stoned and ranting about golf, but I guarantee you there's good information in here. A lot of tips on the internet, YouTube are bullshit. Not bullshit, but it's just it depends on the player. They don't give enough context or information, really. And I think a lot of it just confuses people, or they're trying to maintain students, because there's no reason I feel in a 5-part series, maybe, 5 to 10 part series, you could break down pretty well swing dynamics and the laws of ball flights and everything. The thing with golf is it's a never-ending pursuit, so there's infinite ways to describe the same feelings. Everybody's been teaching the same things for many years, but everyone has their own unique feel and way to describe what they're feeling. That felt real good. Maybe a touch on the heel side, just ever so slightly. I think it was, you can see it was that most towards the heely-ish one, but it felt sweet. Real good divot to ball ratio, and if you catch it a hair fat, especially on a mat, or you catch it a hair thin, that was just absolutely flush. Love that feeling. Try to get those more times than not, or at least something real close to that. That one was a touch thin. Would have been all right, still well over 200. You can see that was the lower-ish mark. Here, I'll use some better balls that leave better marks. That one was a Pro V. This is a rock hard range ball. Oh, felt so sweet. I was just right in the middle of those. I'll keep hitting those range balls. There he goes, keep hitting that same one. But momentum, effortless power. Just let everything fall. I know that's an exaggeration. You're not chicken arms and chicken, just holding it like that limp on your actual swing, of course. You're just trying to get momentum started. And the only way you can do that is not going back and then going through. It's getting everything starting already. So by the time your hands are here, your lower body is already going. So you can just get a head start to here. Because then when it's time to actually use your power, it's just such a simple release. And the thing about the release is it can be a little bit more of this action. See how the face is very much staying square versus if I were to do this, like just this open and close here. And I always feel like, I like to feel like this arm here, your trail arm, my right arm, is lower than my left. I'm not actually getting in my heel. Get more of that heel. Oops. See, I wasn't thinking there, and I was getting onto my front toe a little. I was getting up here. That's what I've been working on, is really getting my weight to my heel. You can just whip through. Oh, that was my first toe-y one. I didn't even see it. Yeah, I do. It's up there. It was a little fat toe-y. I felt weird on that one. I was doing like weird practice swings while addressed at the ball. Normally I'll practice swing and then step into the ball, not take practice swings over the top of it. Pre-shot routine is so important, especially on the course, with putting, chipping may be different. Better, a lot better. Basically the same spot. Yeah, I just want to look like, classic Adam Scott, Tiger Woods at the top here. Let me actually turn towards the camera. Right at the top, pretty square. Can't see. That looks crooked in the mirror because I'm faced away from that. Right there, bub. Right there. And then in the front just lets everything, if you want to really exaggerate, coming from the inside. And that's what I was saying. Your lead side needs to go way right. Your upper half needs to go way right, in a sense. That's that dropping to the inside and getting your hips cleared that, Tiger Woods and pros do so well. The square root of open. That's what I've been calling it. The math equation to the golf swing. The square root of open. You're opening your arms and chest. Getting that spine tilt everyone's talking about. You're getting your hips open, keeping your spine angle and getting your lead hip out of the way like everyone's talking about. That, with a little swing plane. And something people really misconstrue is inside. They know they need to come from the inside to not slice it. But A, they really extend to get to the inside and not clear out of the way. And B, they just come to the inside. So they might get it to the inside, but then they just slap it out to the right because they never square things up. And Mike Malaska he wasn't the first one to have this concept, but it's coined the Malaska move because he pushed it pretty heavily because of players like Jack Nicklaus is where he was getting a lot of his swing information from. He spent a lot of time with Jack. Hip movements, foot movement, or footwork, all sorts of stuff. I don't know. Try to break down everything that you need to do to play good golf. Or at least give you some good feels to work on. Because I heard someone. Because it's a never-ending pursuit of, just a minute, I can't see now. It was a little thin, that last one. Probably the lowest ball mark on there. Yeah. recording, right? And it's all about just putting spin on this stupid ball. Just keep your trail heel down, especially with irons. And if you're gonna come up, don't let your knee get outside your front knee. You wanna keep your back knee back. Even if you're picking your foot up, you kind of want to slide more this way with it. Where a guy like Scheffler, Scotty Scheffler's like, doesn't he like, what does he even do? He like moves his back foot back in his swing or something. But he lifts his foot real early and he moves it. I'm trying to remember, I just saw his swing the other day. I think he does that and moves his foot back. What I'm suggesting is you just try to keep it fairly planted, or what guys like Jack Nicklaus and Mike Malaska talk about is just to get a feel. You can lift your foot on the backswing a little, but it's more of a roll. Just to get this little feel for a drill. If you just roll your feet in, that's where I like to feel my back foot is fairly planted, but just beginning to roll. Because then once I hit it, and my club's basically here, then that foot can come up. It's down to up, or parallel to up. It's not just up. You have to almost move it this way before you move it up and out. That's a big mistake is, people will go that way right out the gates, and it just gets you closer to the ball, brings the handle up into the air, straightens your spine angle. Oh, that felt so sweet. So pure. I'm gonna clean it and get some freshies. You need to have the utmost confidence in yourself when playing golf. That's a huge part of tournament golf and scoring well. It's not just playing smart, it's having confidence in yourself and knowing that you're there to win the tournament. I'm not there to, I hope I don't get embarrassed. Oh my gosh, there's people watching. No, I want to win that fucking tournament. That's why I'm there. That's why I spend money to enter it. That's why I practice so much. If you're playing tournament golf, I feel like no one can get in your way. Or at least mentally, no one can get in your way. And that's the attitude I've always tried to have and have had. I truly feel like I'd bet money against Tiger Woods. I don't care. I'm sure he'd beat me most of the time. But I give him, I'm no slouch. Especially giving me all that money as I mishit it, fucking weak off the toe. But yeah. Personalized clubs whenever, you know what I mean? You just have all this money, swing coaches. I'm sure I could get a lot better at golf than I am right now too if I've never had a coach. I've always felt like my own coach. And the mirror. Oh, that felt so nice, even though it was a piece of shit rain ball. Center. Not as big of marks. Let me find some other range balls. Some of them leave real big marks. It's one of these. Keep your head still. I think a lot of people, right over the last one. Alright, stop showing the camera, but a lot of people, they just get in their own way. You can also think too much, and that's what happens to me sometimes when I'm talking about the golf swing or doing like videotaping because I'm trying to think of what I want to say next instead of focusing on hitting a shot. What I honestly like to do is, if you're a golfer, I'm sure you've noticed this, when your club is moving, it makes kind of a blur in your eye, in your vision, in your peripheral vision. You need to use everything. You don't so much stare at one point as kind of like, I am aware of the ball. I am aware of a straight, invisible straight back line from my ball. That invisible straight back line, I want to follow. I don't need to watch it with my eyes to make sure it follows it. But I see a line through the ball, and then this slightly arcing kind of line, depending on the shot I want to play, but like for, say, just a straight shot, I'd kind of be thinking a little more along like that. So I think you can see that. Off the ball, again, you're just kind of taking in the situation, not overthinking, being confident, maybe having your one swing thought. Like, I like to pick a little spot, kind of in front of the ball, where I'm kind of looking at like ball in front of the ball where I want to make a divot, maybe a little bit out to the right, because I pick a target, and then, I line my club face up to that target, and then I can just see where the club face is aimed, so I'm kind of like, just trying to make a divot after the ball, focusing on the ball, focusing on that invisible line in my mind's eye, like I'm seeing the ball flight I'm about to hit. Like I'm gonna try to hit a high fade with this one. 225-yard high fade, all carry. Oh, that was hit so good. Hopefully the wind was maybe at my back. I think I had that. That was as flush as can be, dead center. But anyway, that line to the inside here. So I'm kind of thinking back off the ball and then just kind of slapping it with my hands. And I like to use the emblem of my glove as kind of just a thought in my mind. I'm not overly focused on it. Really it depends, but I try to keep that wrist nice and just square through the ball flat. I don't want to be flipping it up. I don't want to be like holding it out this way. I don't want to be this way. I want to have my right arm under. I want to be, going to the top, elbow down, dropping from the inside while my hip's clear. But then I like to feel like the club head is coming over the top. So my hands are going inside. I'll exaggerate it. That's the Malaska of when you feel like you're coming over the top from the inside. Of course, you wouldn't do it that much. It just allows you to drop to the inside and then square the face. Hands down, elbow against rib cage as you're turning. Right to the top. You're turning. Arms are dropping into your ribs. You square the face. You don't get stuck and leave it behind you. If I were to get stuck and leave it behind me, like that would be coming from the inside. So you really need to come from the inside and square things up. It's all about squaring things up. That wasn't the best, a little drop kicky. I'm tired. Worked all day, working out earlier. Not exactly in my golf clothes. All right, new club besides the 4-iron. I'm gonna hit some 9-irons. Get some fresh strike patterns.